what all happened last session?
Last session, oh god, we went to Paragon Industries, right?
Yeah, one of their R&D facilities that has its own internal security system, so no one would know you were there.
Uh-huh.
Spectra was very specific choosing that.
We found our engineer.
Yeah.
Yes, unexpectedly. The engineer y'all didn't know you had. I've been wanting to introduce him as like, he'll just be there. And then when he sees y'all, it's just like, okay, I'm out, bye. I'm going back to my old job.
Seems about right.
Didn't even tell anyone, just gave a note of here. I'm not working here anymore. Bye!
He had his 2 weeks letter, already written in his coat.
Yeah.
Or 2-second notice.
Some hackers tried to get into Paragon Industries' system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just at the most lovely, opportune moment.
the weird goop tried to get out.
Yes, because I wanted to introduce slimes to this universe. Also, I do believe Ferda did reveal her face for a while before y'all left.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you also had to sign some NDAs basically saying you won't spread word about any information you got from the engine, but you'll get some nice good deals from them. So once they announce it, then you can talk about it. They just try and decrease the likelihood of people trying to break in and steal their stuff. Especially when they aren't entirely sure how this engine works. Because last thing we want is someone to be like, oh hey, I'm going to steal that and hook it up to my ship, and oh, I created a black hole, good job.
Good job. You broke it.
And now we have a black hole to deal with. Have fun! No, I don't think that would happen. That'd be fun to deal with, but that's a theoretical example they give for things. And so the rest of the night passed uneventfully. You all are on your way to basically a little safe house Spectra has set up that she has assured you no one's gonna know about it. It's not going to be traceable, and it's going to be somewhere where you all can lay low. It's gonna take some time to get there because she's taking the indirect route until she can get to a quiet part of space and then just stealth the rest of the way there. The rest of the day passes mostly uneventfully. Y'all go to bed, and you have a full day ahead of you.
A note on the robust design: the color has changed to copper.
Okay. Any particular reason, or just aesthetic?
Yes, but that is for the fans to figure out.
Okay. It'll be a while before they hear about that, but okay.
Oh yeah, it's whatever. It's fine.
I've just started editing session 12. This is 20. Yeah, so at the moment, Lex is still locked in engineering. He's got a couple of projects going on that are delicate, so no one's going to be getting in there for a while. He will eventually come out. Tully assures you that there's food in there. He'll be fine. He just does this sometimes.
I have to admit, when you said Lex, I was like, what? Something like my brain registered it as like Alexis, like Lexus, Lexus. I was like, what? What did I do? It's fine. It'll be fine.
Do I have his name written down wrong? I have it written down as Lan.
I don't know why his name is Lex, and
Whoa.
since I've been watching a lot of DC stuff, including Supergirl, my brain keeps following that up with Luthor, and I'm like, no, you stop that.
Yeah, don't make our engineer evil. That's not gonna end well.
No, he's odd, but he's fine.
Okay.
So he's doing that. Maria is still working on dismantling Synth's network, going through all of those communications to see if he has any connection to the bounty situation or whoever's behind the bounty situation, because she's still trying to figure out who that is. And also trying to see if he knows about whoever it was that stole her ship, because she's still biffed about that. I think Tully's probably still helping Drew and Daria get suit upgrades done and taken care of and things like that, and Spectra is piloting. So what do you all want to do?
I'm going back to work in the suit, getting that thing refurbished.
What part of it are we focusing on today? Because I think you got it, like, sort of dismantled and cleaned out.
Reassembly. Main aesthetic stuff is probably going to be on the outside, unless there's specific stuff we want to change on the inside first. Because she is going to be asking Anima directly, like, what doesn't work about this? What needs to be changed?
We don't have to get into detail about that. We can handwave parts of that, but I imagine that would take a fair amount of time. It's a long-term project, but it's a fun one.
It's the thing where you're just going to dump all of the extra time you have into it to finish it way faster than... Because we can't have Anima without her suit. That's kind of a big deal.
I mean, I think we've established that there are other suits. They may not fit as well, but they serve the same purpose if she needs heavy armor while that's being worked on.
I want the person that is standing between me and the thing that can kill me to be comfortable so that they can stop the thing that's trying to kill me from killing me. I don't need them being distracted because, the arm doesn't quite lift high enough.
First line defense needs working armor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Plus, I'm not freestyling. This is a model that I assume is relatively well known. So I have, like, all of the user manuals up, every single thing of everybody ever having taken one apart. So, if anything, I'm applying all of the stuff I'm learning from rebuilding, going by the books, which is faster, to the homebrew thing that I'm making. This should take much less time.
Gotcha.
I'm also there. I'm helping.
Vi, what are you doing?
Vi's a little torn. On one hand, there's her board to work on. Try to deal with that or narrow that down.
Conspiracy board.
Yeah, her conspiracy board. And then there's the fact that she's not really trusting that the hackers was just a coincidence. And so Vi is not happy, especially since Doral didn't give, like, a straight answer. When Vi asked about, like, have the hackers done anything since, like, that ooze came into the system, Vi's a little suspicious of that. Not necessarily against Doral, but just, yeah.
I do have one thing I need to go back and correct, because the name of the organization it's from the book, and I keep calling it the wrong thing. It's the Shadow Technocracy, not whatever I called it last time.
Okay. You called it Tetrarch. Okay.
Yes, I don't know why I have that in my head, but it's Technocracy.
The ShadowNet Technocracy.
It's just... that's it.
Okay.
You kind of have the ability to research the group if you want, and you also know that Spectra and Tali and them are familiar with it, and you know Spectra's in the helm right now if you want to go talk to her.
Yeah, I guess so. We can do that.
As you walk into the helm, she doesn't have hands on the wheel, but she's watching. You just see she's absent-mindedly, like, rubbing her arm. And then she looks down and starts rubbing it more. And roll me a perception check.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay. See, perception. Yay, I got a 24.
Very nice. You know how sometimes when people have tattoos, they, like, cover it with makeup and stuff and, like, sort of watching it come off? You notice as she was rubbing her arm, these markings started appearing, and she looked down and started doing it more. It's like she was taking a layer of something off, and she starts doing it to the other arm too. And you know, she has a series of, like, faint tattoos that look like constellations. From a distance, they might look kind of like freckles, but you can tell there are small stars and constellations on her arms.
It's useful to carry your trip.
She just keeps sort of rubbing until it's all off, and then she's like, nice, and then goes back to what she's doing.
She's never had them exposed to us before, though.
No.
Has she realized I'm in the room while she's doing this, or?
Hang on, because I imagine you're not particularly being sneaky, but you're not being loud about it.
No.
No, she has not. She's distracted.
Okay. While she's distracted, would it be possible for me to try and take a picture of at least part of the tattoo? See if I could research it later, maybe? Either arm. Like, okay, sure. Stealthily. Stealth.
Yeah, stealth, or let's say sleight of hand, because you're having to physically do something to take the picture.
Okay.
I'm picturing like the camera glasses where you have to like click a button on the side or something.
Okay, yeah. I only got an 11 for that, so...
And what's your modifier? Or is that with the modifier?
That's plus modifier, yeah.
Okay. She rolled a 12 on her perception, so she looks up and says, "Oh, Felina, is everything alright?"
Yeah, I just was thinking about the hackers, Paragon, and I don't necessarily believe that having the hackers attack either while we were there or at least while that ooze was there was coincidence necessarily. And so I was thinking about doing some research into the ShadowNet technocracy. I was wondering if you had any starting points for that.
They can be rather tricky to research. They live in the very, very dark corners of the ShadowNet. They're hard to find even if you know where they are. And researching them can prove problematic if you're trying to do it without them noticing. For the most part, they stick to themselves, but they're also can be dangerous. But not all in the technocracy are dangerous. Some are groups who just choose to rail against the different corporations for different reasons. Do they stick firmly to old beliefs, just decide to be a thorn in the side? The more dangerous ones tend to be hard to find and hard to get the attention of unless you're really trying. And then they're more likely to just go further into hiding. But with this group, my gut says they're probably just activists of some sort trying to stick it to the man or something. I was able to locate several of them, and there are people going to pick them up now, so if there's something bigger going on, they will be able to find out the truth.
All right, although I disagree that people in the ShadowNet are sometimes harmless, but that's a more philosophical discussion.
Not as much harmless as being not an active, direct threat.
All right. So we're heading to one of your safe houses now to lay low, try to get more information, hopefully, about Trigger.
Yes, get more information, see if we can find some allies who would be willing to help us, or instead of... There's some who may pretend to be allies, though it's most likely just sell us out at the second notice to get a leg up with Trigger or something, but I know some people who may be able to help. We just need to get somewhere where we know we are safe and can lie low for some time.
Alright.
And this safe house, they wouldn't be able to track. It's not connected to me, and no one knows about it.
Alright.
I actually set it up a long time ago for situations like this. Sometimes in this line of work, you anger dangerous people. You always need somewhere to go, or no one will be able to find you.
Yeah, that is helpful. You have very interesting tattoos.
Oh, yes, it's and she just kind of like looks down at her arms. I had them covered for so long that it took a while for me to get all of the concealer off. I was reapplying it regularly because I didn't want anyone in the Federation to notice, and it got a little attached over time. Finally, I was able to get most of it off.
So, the camouflage earrings, they don't conceal tattoos or anything like that, even though they changed your skin color?
They can, but it's better to have backups in place, especially for long term. It can cause some discrepancies in the camouflage, and I didn't want to risk having any of these appear, because even if I explained it the way, it would only take so much research for them to realize these constellations don't exist in that area of space.
Yeah, that would be problematic. Alright.
Also, her camouflage was green.
Yeah, the earrings. Well, it also changed, like, the skin tone on her arms as well, because she does have it's like a bluish-greenish tinge to her skin.
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Yeah, no, I think it's more of like a faint greenish tinge, like almost like an olive green tinge from her dad's side of the family, because he's Cash. It's fun keeping those two straight. These tattoos are a bit of a family tradition of whenever we make a particularly impactful find, whether it's a vault or something else, we get a tattoo of a constellation we find nearby. Gonna have to get the new one for the latest one, but that can wait until later.
It's not, so in your family, you don't just go through vaults, exploring vaults, you also do other things as well? I mean, I know that your parents, what was it, they founded the Pirate Corps?
It's not as much founded as they've been influential members for a while. The tattoo tradition actually came from my father's side. He's Cash, and he's one of the Star Wanderers. He's where I got a bit of my love of history and my wanderlust. My mother was more of the diplomat of the family, helped me find a love for the culture of things. So, me and a few of my brothers have a contest going on, seeing who can find the most vaults.
Are you winning so far?
I'm in the lead, and I've definitely left several of the other people I grew up with in the dust. But not everyone in my family is focused on that. There's a variety of interests. But I've always been interested in the crucibles and why exactly they were left here.
Well, yes. But some of them were just camouflaged as moons or planets. Well, I guess with the crucible we visited a star would be the more accurate term, but... Because I believe I recall reading something with Eldor's crucible, how they thought, until it sort of activated, that they thought it was a second moon or something.
Yes, they did, and it changed things quite a bit. It created the Eldori.
Well, yes, sort of. It created sort of natural abilities that the Eldori have, yes.
Yes. Because there's people who study and want to know what they can learn from the crucibles, which I admit is fascinating. I mean, when the Dendis were able to crack some of the code, that's how they learned how to create the Ashen Forged. What I'm curious about is, why would someone leave something behind that has the ingredients or the instructions for how to create a new life? I mean, it's a question we may never know the answer to, but it's always been an interest of mine. My best friend growing up, he was more focused on what we could learn from them in the fields of science and technology and how we can make the future a bit better.
Spectra, since you know at least some about the crucibles, I've been trying to think about what happened the few days, the 1 to 2 day span between when, like, the photos were taken of us for the bounty and when the bounty was posted and things like that. And the morning that we visited Sinreth, you remember we went on a tour of the Crucible, and there was a ship, I believe, going off of it. Is that normal?
Yes, that would probably have been one of the Belair research vessels.
Alright, so it is not... I'm not sure I wish to say a common occurrence, but it is known that that people do go on the ship, onto the Crucible, or very close by it.
People don't get this close to the Belair one due to the energy, but the Belair do often assist in the study of the Crucible, so the scientists and researchers can still learn things without the risk of ending up a Belair. Though we still don't know much about how that happened. Their ability to explain the events surrounding that has been hampered by some kind of language barrier that we've not quite found a way around.
Right.
But they have been able to help unlock many of the secrets and much of the information available on the Crucible.
Alright. I just wanted to make sure, since while on the tour we did see, or at least I saw a ship seemingly coming off of the Crucible, or from very close by it, and so I was thinking if someone was trying to remain undetected, they would try to prevent those who saw anything from telling about it, but if it's a somewhat known occurrence that at least the Belair go in a ship to it, then that's much less likely to be the cause.
True, and even those who would try and be more covert about things, they know to stay away from that Crucible, and if you're trying to do something sneaky, you don't do it in the middle of the day without your stealth protocols on. She says this is someone who very much knows that just like not many people would be dumb enough to not only do that, but do that and not try and hide it.
Alright, that's good. I just wanted to narrow down as much as possible. Alright, thank you.
It's fair. Still have a lot of questions about who this person is and what their interest is in us, especially what it is that we know that they want to know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Spectra as well. This is more of a question about your about the, I guess, political climate of the Alliance. I just would rather double check.
Her eyebrow raises at this, but she doesn't say anything.
Well, you know, at the Federation, you could not always count on the government to do things you believe it should, and so you would have, let's say, third parties go through with it. If someone believed that someone was taken from their home or their planet, would they go in the Alliance? Would they go to the government, or would they speak with the third parties if they wanted to try to help return them?
Part of that would depend on the person and the reason behind their loved one being taken, but it could be either one. What makes you ask? Do you have a theory?
Admittedly, it is one of my more far-fetched ones. I'm not talking necessarily about loved ones, but there was a point where someone may have been led to believe, though they may not have known that the person saying it was kidding, that a few of us were sort of kidnapped. And even though it was a stranger, I was just wondering what happened. In this case, something was said to the tour guide of we went on the Crucible tour, and he did seem concerned, and so I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a possible connection there. Since the political climates, how the government handles things is different here than in the Federation, I just wanted to see what the more likely possibility was.
I mean, I'm not sure a tour guide would have the capital necessary to put quite this kind of bounty, and if he spoke to Ilvasar, things would have been cleared up. There's also thinking about who the bounty was put on. If he believed you were kidnapped, why would he put the bounty on you?
Yeah. Well, that is true. That is true. My apologies. It's been
There's been a lot going on.
Yes.
I understand.
It's been a eventful couple of days.
Also, oftentimes, whenever you do a vault, it does leave you a little scrambled for some time.
I spoke to Drew and Daria about what was it? They call them the Guardians. At least that's, I believe, their closest word in our language about him.
There's still a lot we don't know about them, but they're typically bound to the vault, and that one was a little different. Usually, all we come out with is the item at the end, but it gave me some information, the answer to a question. Well, at least part of an answer to a question I've been trying to figure out for some time. And that's not a common occurrence. Did something odd happen with you? Beyond it knowing more about you than you thought it should. They tend to do that a lot, and it's unsettling.
Yes, that was unpleasant. I mean, the Guardian mentioned something about... what was it? Being more aware of hidden things. It just seemed odd, but the Guardian had an answer to your quest to something that had happened outside of the vault. That just seems a little disconcerting that it has the ability to learn things outside of the vaults. Unless, well, I suppose if they are all connected and have not a hive mind, but a sort of central data area? No.
Not entirely sure how it connects, but for that particular, I should probably explain a little bit. A long time ago, a friend of mine died under odd circumstances, and I've been trying to piece together what happened, and I haven't been able to find much information, but there was something that I was able to narrow down after some time, which was this signal. I wasn't able to trace where it came from, but a few years ago I noticed a similar signal. It's actually a big part of why I went to the Federation. I was trying to figure out if there is some connection between where my friend was going and something in the Federation. I was never quite able to find it, but I recorded some data, and what the vault gave me was the final piece of an equation I had been struggling to figure it out, and I was able to, well, here, and she pulls up a thing and shows it to you on the tablet, and a lot of the data doesn't make sense, but looking at it, you can see that it's two energy signals that are almost identical. It wasn't at the same rate when I was gathering the information in the Federation, but I was able to create an algorithm that proves that whatever it is, it's the same. It's not as strong, but the signal is the same. And my friend, he was going to study something, but there has been no record of what that was, and no one knows, and I haven't been able to find it. It's been a very long time, and I still have no answers. But I do have confirmation of something, even if I don't know what it is.
And there's no record of it through, I guess, the Belair? Since they have a sort of collective, not consciousness, but they have sort of central libraries that they can reference?
I was able to get some information that helped me, because it wasn't just a single signal. It took me a while to eliminate other, extraneous data, and the Blair were able to help with that, but they've not been able to explain what it is, and I've tried every official route I can think of. There's no record of whatever this job was. Everything is gone on it, and I've been looking for a while now, but all I was told is there was an explosion at the science station, and no bodies were ever recovered. Hence my trying to figure out exactly what was going on there.
Yes, that does seem odd. Sorry, I don't know much about signals per se, so I can't help very much with that.
I appreciate it. I've run it by some experts, and they've not been able to give any for sure answers, but it's proves something. I just don't know what yet.
Is it... No, I guess it wouldn't be an audible signal. It would...
No.
Well,
It's likely not something to be solved in a day, but still surprised that the Guardian of the Vault decided to share that with me. Means there's something there, I just don't know what.
Alright.
Do you have any other questions or theories about who might be behind this. I've been trying to figure that out myself, or what might have caused it.
Well, I have a few theories about, well, this is sort of back to the bounty, actually. Sorry, I'm not sure I can give much help with your signal, but I don't know. I just don't know what... I don't know. I may need to speak with Maria, actually. Did you say earlier that you and Sinrith had worked together at some point, or...?
It was very briefly. I was assisting in the transport after the ship he had been in encountered some mechanical failure. So I offered to help because I was in the area, and later on I found out what I was transporting and threw him through a wall. That was a long time ago. We don't get along well, but he's not yet quite put the bounty on my head. Might have tried to kill me once, but I'm not sure if it was me or the person next to me that was pointing a gun at him. But I don't think he would be behind this. All of his accounts are frozen, and his network has pretty much been burnt to the ground. I mean, he did try. It just didn't go anywhere because everyone knows he's broke, he's burnt, and he's on his own, as far as we can tell.
I just have questions about manufacturing of his drugs, just whether it would be him doing it or if he would sell it to someone and they would manufacture it for him, if he's... I don't know, if...
Maria knows his whole setup now. She's been parsing through all of his information and sending all the information about his contacts and what they've done that she can gather to the Alliance, so whoever he has is burned as well.
Yes, but if he was... I want him reporting to someone, but if it's not that as much as maybe someone else was keeping an eye on him, and they want whatever information is in Maria's hands, or... I probably need to check with her and see if the information was destroyed on the original computer. Also, that box that she picked up, I have to wonder if that would be it either.
Those are both possibilities. I think she's in a few meetings today, but I'm sure she would be free possibly later to answer your questions. Alright, so I'll visit her later then. Well, thank you, Spectra. You've been very helpful. Anytime. We'll figure this out.
So now I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Victor, did Farida put on any music?
Yeah. She basically can't live without it, so yes, absolutely.
Can I do a roll?
Sure. Victor, what music has Farida turned on?
That's a good point, actually.
Are there Ashenforge musicians?
I'm sure there are.
Spirit has been doing a ton of research into just general cultural aspects of Ashenforged. She would probably have found at least that.
Okay, I imagine there's some spread out in every genre, some who are just like dedicated to it. There's a couple who just kind of do it on the side for fun. There's a variety. So what genre does she have on while she's working on this?
A kind of a neat techno jazz. It does a lot of floating. It doesn't have a lot of in the way of lyrics, but it's designed to kind of stand back. It's not in your face. I actually have the specific song that I'm thinking of in my head.
I have no doubt. Give me wisdom. That sentence sounds like it's very different out of context.
12.
So, it does feel familiar to you. You don't have any, specific memories of it. It's you've heard it before. You can decide if how much Anima enjoys it, but it does feel familiar to you, and you can remember possibly listening to it while working on something with... There's not a particular face that comes to mind, but it is familiar to you.
Okay.
For those listening, it is the Celeste B-side Mirror Temple music.
And I was thinking of the Rainy Day remix of Beneath the Mask from Persona 5.
Well, you gotta share that. That is too much of a title for me to not want to listen to.
Okay.
So you can decide if Anima likes it or not.
say probably because I do like funky beats.
Is the frame, which I'm working on rebuilding, basically the same as the other frames for suits on the ship?
I'm gonna say yeah. The tech isn't gonna be as advanced, but like the core structure stuff is going to be similar, if not the same.
Geometry is basically the same.
Yes.
If that's the case, then at some point during this time that we're spending working on the ship, I'm probably going to quickly strip down another suit that is another junker, and that is Farida-sized, and have a sparring match, I guess, between Farida and Anima in the broken down suit to work out flexibility and stuff that was not necessarily available before for Anima in the heavy suit, to see if I can make some improvements.
Okay. Do we want to do that now, or maybe wait and do that later? Because I imagine that would take some time to do that.
The actual breakdown of last time took about an hour. I would imagine with the practice that I have had at this point, I could probably break that down to about a half an hour to break down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm cool with it being just a background thing.
Okay.
Because of course it's going to be something that's going to contribute to her build, but having two different people troubleshooting on the same basic frame would be very practical.
Yeah, I'm picturing maybe not standing close enough to hit each other, but going through the motions of a play fight. And
yeah, it's sparring. That's the whole point of it.
That's a fun mental image in my head, especially considering the height difference.
Yes. They're also relatively strong, and as far as letting Prometheans go, they're also built to be brawlers, so it's probably a little bit more balanced than you would expect, especially for specifically. Yeah,
so not actually putting a lot of strength behind the hits, but just testing movement and stuff like that for the most part. Mm-hmm. Now, they're putting strength behind the hits for when you're sparring with Ty, because he's muscly lizard man.
Muscly, like what, 8 foot or something? Lizard man?
I want to say he's like, what, 7 foot something? I don't remember.
I don't know. Large lizard man.
He is tall, which is funny because Tully is short compared to, is tiny compared to him.
Is she shorter than Vi and Farida?
I think she's probably like about y'all's height.
Alright.
But she's definitely shorter than Ty.
Yeah.
That does not stop her from trying to tackle him occasionally in the hallway. It never ends well, but she never gets hurt.
As long as she doesn't do that to Vi.
I do need you to tell me that she yells sneak attack when she does it.
There have been times when you just heard like, sneak attack! Scuffle, scuffle, scuffle. And then you just hear him continue walking. She's like, okay, you next time. Once you heard, death from above! Dang it!
The first few times Vi heard that, she was like, what?
It was like on the other side of the ship.
I think just hearing that would make Vi a little like, what? Just hearing echoes of sneak attack.
Yeah, she knows Ty's about the only person she can get away with that with.
Yeah, please don't have her try that against Vi.
She's not going to. Also, I imagine as y'all are working on the suit, I don't know if you like have the door open or if there's a window, but you just see Ty walking by and Tully's just wrapped around him like a cape. She's like, I got you! And he just reaches back and pats her head and keeps walking.
That's one of the unusually interesting sights of the Opal Star.
It's Tully. She's got a lot of nervous energy to work off. And Spectra's not letting her spacewalk, so you might hear Ty say, you need to spend some time in anti-gravity. Now I'm fine. No, you need to spend some time in anti-gravity. I'll take you. So, Vi, do you go and research stuff? I meant just like between breakfast and lunchtime. Breakfast would have been when Spectra was letting people know about where we're going. And be vague as possible with no specific details.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure.
For your friendliness, I'm going to do some taking care of things myself.
I have to figure out what, though. Actually, there is one thing that, well, I would actually probably need to talk to Maria about it first.
I think there is. If you don't have an idea for a thing, I have an idea for a thing.
Sure.
Because early this morning you would have gotten an update for your mentor that he was going to try approaching Farida's parents about getting them out. Where do you go after you were talking to Spectra? Where are you going after that?
That's a good question. She would go somewhere to be alone in a way, maybe? Actually, let's try to have her go into the anti-gravity world. Just mainly because she's seen, like, it seems peaceful in there.
Okay. So you go in there before Ty tries to shove Tali in there because she needs to get done with her shenanigans. It's just like it's just a thing. It's one of her things. She's a special snowflake, and I adore her. Oh yeah, so you go in there and you've been shown how to turn the gravity off. It's a strange sensation, just floating around, but it is quiet in there, and you get 2 notifications. One that's from the encrypted conversation with your mentor, and one that's from one of your more public accounts, and it was the one you used to send Farida's mom the message. Which one do you open first?
Probably Z's. Yeah.
Okay.
Z's.
So, in his message, he explains he'd been watching the house for a while, and it had gotten quiet the night before, and
Alright.
he didn't see any activity the following day, so when he went in, he was surprised to see it was empty. Furniture's still there, but the belongings are gone, and he explains, like, he doesn't know where they went. There was no sign of anyone taking them. The Federation people watching them are still there, and he does send you a picture of one odd thing that he found, which is a picture of a white lotus.
Okay.
Would she know the significance of that?
Yes, she's close enough to Farida to know that Farida uses that iconography a lot. Like, it's like her user avatar in a variety of conversations and chats.
So he's like, does this mean anything to you or to her?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I would say maybe a message to Farida. She uses lotuses a lot, white lotuses, in her photo images and things like that. I'll have to ask her about those specifics, but I don't like that they've disappeared.
Okay, from what I can tell, the Federation is still watching the house. It doesn't look like they took them, but I was able to get in and out without detection. We'll keep an eye on things just in case anything changes. Let me know what she says.
I will.
And I think he also, like, with the timeline he gave you, it looks like around the last time he saw activity would have been around the same time. It looks like you got the message from Farida's mom.
Okay. Alright, then I'd open the other one, have as much information before I go to Farida as possible.
I don't know what her response would look like.
What was the initial message?
I think you had me send her the song that you made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, undoctored, and I think you had the text say, like, this one isn't for Uncle Freddy, or something like that.
Then the response would probably be something along the lines of, how vague would she be? I'll be tending to my blossom soon.
I'll be tending to my blossom soon. Okay. That makes no sense. Alright, so at that point, you'll find Farida.
Which I imagine you know where she went or how to find her. Victor, I'll let you describe what Farida's doing as Vi walks in.
At that point, I'm thinking that the sparring has gotten to the point where we're trying to figure out the best way to make use of strength.
Mm-hmm.
So you might walk in and Anima is like bench pressing Farida, and Farida's just like, okay, I think that should work. Right? That little change in the shoulders really gives you more range. Oh, hi, Vi.
Hello. So, Ferda, there's been some updates with your parents.
Slowly putting Ferda down.
They're most likely all right.
Uh-huh.
Z told me that the house has been quiet for a day or so, and so we went in to check, and the house is empty. I mean, there's furniture there still, but like the belongings are gone. Though he did find a white lotus there.
Right.
And then I also got a reply from your mother saying I'll tend to my blossoms soon. So.
How very artistic of her to say it that way.
Yeah.
There is this thing that she always told me, which was that, well, and the reason why I like it so much is that this flower is a means of protection. I'm guessing if they vanished, then Dad has implemented one of his more clandestine activities. He did plan a variety of escape routes. That was just the thing that he did, since he was kind of a little bit into the security thing. I mean, at the point where you are, you have to be, right? He's a big fan of knowing his routes out. I'm guessing I'll be tending to the Blossom. Well, that was a nickname for me, but I don't think that that's necessarily something that she would be chasing. I'm going to assume that that means something along the lines of she's going wherever she thinks that I go.
They don't know where that is. All right.
Well, broad spectrum.
Broad spectrum, yes, but...
So, Alliance.
We don't... Yes, but did we tell them we're in the Alliance? We just said that you were not staying at Uncle Freddy's house for a while.
Federation. It's a really bad pun. It's probably about the worst pun that we possibly could have made.
Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned next time to find out what happens on board the Opal Star. If you don't want to wait, you can get early access to our episodes over at patreon.com/pseudonymsocial. If you like our show, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting app so people can know where to find us. We couldn't do this without your help. Aboard the Opal Star is a production of Pseudonym Social, changing reality one story at a time. It is DM'd and produced by me, Brianna Toiber.
I'm Casey, and I'm playing Anima the Ashen-Forged.
Victor, I'm playing Ferida the Promethean.
My name's Alexis, and I am playing Mylena Sorrell, the Eldori.
With music by Patrick Chester of Chester Studios. To get more information on this or any of our other shows, check out our website at pseudonymsocial.wordpress.com.
Hey everybody, you want a new D&D 5th edition podcast to listen to? Well, I know I'm always looking for one, so guess what? I've got a recommendation for you. It's called Cheaper by the Dungeon. It's a Dungeons & Dragons campaign following the adventures of Zippy, Darian, and Normandy as they travel to become the greatest treasure hunters of all time. We've got some hardcore action.
That's
5,
18 damage, 18 damage,
4,
18 damage.
3, you come through with an 18 damage, you're swinging a
Another
buster
swing,
for...
another swing, that's another 7, it's 17 damage.
2,
17 damage,
9,
17 damage.
17 damage! Comedy? Right. So you want to bet on your friends? What do you want to bet?
Their very lives, I think. As high as it goes. I'm ready to
jeez.
win
What?
today.
Okay. And even some dramatic moments.
You have chosen the path you've sown. Now travel to the depths alone. And with Royce, I grab him and I throw him over the edge.
But most of all, this show is filled to the brim with heart. And we hope that you come and join our adventure and become a cheapskate yourself. You can catch Cheaper by the Dungeon anywhere you get your podcasts. Check us out. Love you!
Alright, yeah, we did it.
More treasure! I gotta find it. It's mine.
Darian, Zippy, that was so good. Wow, I'm amazed.
Yeah.